let's go ahead and hop right into the match. Right off of that, though, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be starting on Skyscraper. It is going to be Most Wanted on defense of the top floor, and Rogue on attack.
I really enjoy the changes to the community vote as well. It's nice to actually have this data available. I'm surprised with as much of a blowout as it was for Rogue, given Most Wanted's performance against Elevate. You think that they would learn because almost nobody gave Most Wanted a chance, and they managed to defeat Elevate.
I mean, obviously, this is a more it's more slanted towards Most Wanted, this community vote, since ones we've seen in the past. For example, I think Most Wanted had, what was it, 14, 16%?
Somewhere in that range.
Against Elevate, they had 14 to 60%, something like that. So coming off of their win, they've almost doubled their community presence, and I think that's very impressive. Their play that they displayed in that Elevate match was, well, exactly that, impressive. So Rogue is obviously a team, though, that is, I would say, probably one of the community favorites. It's right up there with Continuum. I'd say Rogue and Continuum probably like the top 2 community favorite teams in North America. So the fact that Rogue actually forfeited 28% of that vote to Most Wanted, to me, is actually a surprise. While I think that Most Wanted has the best chance of any team in this group to beat Rogue before they get to the playoffs, or well, before they possibly get to the playoffs, I do think that I do think that it was really impressive by Most Wanted to make their way up there in the presence.
Right, when you have somebody as prominent as King George, not just as a streamer, but also a face of the...
Well, just the team in general.
Absolutely, and everybody else. It's not even just King George, it's obviously he has a big spotlight on himself. And you can see Rogue has already managed to storm in the Geisha room, and Brian is going to try to give them a sightline down that hall between the 2 objective sites. And some heavy droning as the roam game for Most Wanted is somewhat restrained. Avian's just going to come right in and pick off Trippin. Unbelievable how he's just able to do that. And a very quick plant. We're going to see a plant go down within the first 90 seconds. Redeemer picks off Slash Hug, doing better on smoke than we've seen before. And the diffuser down right now. Most Wanted just allowing them to be bullied by Rogue. And it's just all going to come down to Rogue trying to hold off any push from Most Wanted onto the site. You can see Brian is going to try to use that long sightline. King Leo gets a frag on Avian. And from below, or sorry, from through that window, Redeemer takes out Eclipse. Brian gets a frag, as does King George. And now it's just up to the 2v2 of Redeemer and Chala. And Chala looks like he might have almost next to no health and or be downed.
Just got picked up. But there's only a couple seconds left here. They don't really have enough time. The defenders have to start pressuring the diffuser. As Redeemer runs against Brian, he's going to be taken out, and King George ready for that run out from Chala. It doesn't really matter. The diffuser didn't have enough time anyway, but it was a nice try by Most Wanted to recover that. It was, I think, a 4v4 at the time of the diffuse plant, and they almost managed to bring it back. It just was not enough pressure. But the underlying thing for that round is obviously the fact that they simply didn't have any presence on the bomb site. They had a Pulse playing underneath in an attempt to use C4 to deny the actual diffuse plan at all, and he was completely unsuccessful. I like that, a very aggressive play from Rogue.
They read that properly and saw that Trippin was isolated in that room by himself inside a karaoke. All they did was run in, and the fact that Avian was able to win that fight so cleanly against Trippin too is something that you can't allow to happen at this level, and Rogue basically just forced their way right in. A good start by Redeemer there, you can see, along with King Leo, the only 2 members of Most Wanted to get on the board. One thing that I noted about Redeemer in our matches last week was that he wasn't very successful on smoke on this map. You saw that he started to switch to Echo on the other 2 that we played on. And on both Border and Oregon, his Echo play was a lot tighter than his smoke play, and that was, I think, a big difference to help Most Wanted stay competitive. Of course, you need roster depth when you have one player carrying the way. Eventually they'll cool off. You need the rest to pick up that slack. We saw Redeemer did just that, and I'm going to look out to see if he decides to play Echo at all on Skyscraper, because I don't think he did last week.
Yeah, but now as Rogue starts to set themselves up on this top floor, we are seeing no real deviation here from the common bomb site. I kind of like this. I appreciate it from both teams that they want to stick to their guns and go to the very typical. We've seen in the past on Skyscraper specifically a lot of, all right, we're going to go to the barbecue kitchen, or we're going to go over to the other side of the building in general on the east side. And here you're just seeing your clean-cut, normal strategy. Most Wanted getting very aggressive here in through the front door early on. Trippin kind of exposing himself a little bit. You can see here that Most Wanted, obviously, they just want to clear out the east side of the building so they don't have to worry about any roamers coming from behind as they start their actual push towards the bomb site. And this is a very smart play from Most Wanted. It's reminiscent of the Oregon west side take, where you clear out that west side because you know the roamers can't rotate through the bottom floor because there is no bottom floor on the westmost side of Oregon. And it's basically the same thing here. As soon as you cut off front door and delivery, then you just have to focus on terrace. And it only takes one person to do the 2 bottom lanes.
King Leo aware that at least one member of Rogue, we know 2 though, sit inside of Drum, disoriented from the Yokai. They're going to have to battle through that Pulse and that Jaeger in order to take control. Chala's going to run right in, and King George goes down. That's the Bandit. So one of their roamers off, and then the 2 of Eclipse, like I said, in Slash, not too far off site, can get back. You'll see Eclipse is now going to rotate and head down. Chala sees him, but somehow misses his shots, and Eclipse is going to get taken out as Chala gets kill number 2 on the round. And we can see Skyscraper just Chala things.
Yeah, Chala really showing up for his team here, and that's extremely important considering the Most Wanted attack has been somewhat stalled out here by Rogue, and it's been a good play so far. You can also see that Slashug is primed and ready inside of Strip to drop down as soon as the defuse plant starts to go down. But as King Leo starts to open up underneath, Brian is going to actually be taken out. Something that people tend to forget is that when you're opening up those vertical angles as an attacker, it is a 2-way deal. So Brian, with some good play, will try to even out that man count for his team. But Most Wanted does have control over those north stairs, and that's a very important position to be utilized by the attackers. Avian going to get another kill onto Redeemer, and it's looking better and better for Rogue with only 30 seconds left.
Chala tries to dual battle with Brian through that window, thinking Nate's going to pick him apart from behind. And now it's Slash and Avian offsite. The Yokai is going to be the difference maker here, but right now Avian not on it. We'll try to get Trippin. Trippin's going to get one now onto Avian. And it's just Slashug offsite. He's going to get pushed by Thinking Nate. He'll get him down, but the call is going to go out as to where he is. Chala's going to push up and get his 3rd kill on the round, and Slash goes down to give us a 1-1 game. They didn't even need to get that diffuser again, as the Pulse was the last man up, and Skyscraper looks to be just as competitive as it was against Elevate last week.
Yeah, this is really cool to see. We're seeing some really ragtag, I would describe it as, strategy from both teams. And it seems to be that once one of the attacking teams establishes control over that main hallway, they start to really pivot onto the defenders who are anchored heavy in the bomb site. You saw there Most Wanted as they moved in through the main hallway in that 2v2, I believe it was. It was really easy to just take the positions that they knew the last 2 defenders would be at, pre-fire them, and win their fights. It wasn't that difficult. Slashug did end up rotating pretty hard off of Geisha, but ultimately in that round he didn't accomplish much of anything as the Pulse. You can see he was trying to play inside of Geisha to rotate downstairs later if the fast B plant started to come out so he could C4 from below, or even the fast A plant. But Most Wanted was aware of that clearly, and they simply prioritized killing rather than the objective, which is a good calculated play. Normally it's a little bit, you don't want to obviously encourage getting the kills instead of playing the objective, but in this instance it definitely works out.
Rogue showing that you can run in and play the objective quite well and still get the frags in round number 1, too. And one thing that I think that wasn't mentioned in our broadcast last week and needs to be, I think, said this time around is last week was the very first time that King Leo had played Buck in any form of match or scrim. He literally flexed onto Buck at the start of Skyscraper. Of course, we joked about how he got that kill on himself on the grenade, and it was funny to see that. But he's not familiar with the operator at all, and I think we're going to see him start to learn and grow as it goes on, of course, if Most Wanted continues. But for Rogue, I don't see any operators that are really too outside of the norm for what they would usually play. For them, it's just going to be staying the course.
And on that note of being new to things, Most Wanted, this isn't their first season in Pro League, it's their 2nd. But they are that is actually very fresh by Pro League standards. So they're a pretty new team overall, especially with some of the changes they've made recently. And they have had an amazing showing just right out the gate here. With Chala and Redeemer, I think were the ones that were added to their roster in this latest season. Going up against teams such as Elevate and Rogue, they're already putting up a heck of a fight against Rogue, and it's honestly, it's just straight impressive to see this level of play from such a fresh team. Nice C4.
Just misses his Nitro Cell on King George there. Some good repelling play. And the leadoff kill in round number 3 is going to go to Eclipse. He takes Redeemer down as Trippin eliminates Eclipse. So that is a refrag from above. Brian picks off the mute of King Leo, and Chala gets Avian. So we are at a 3v3 as Brian makes it a 3v2 as he kicks out Trippin. And now Chala is once again a man on a mission from above. He's going to need to try to use that sight line that Brian opened up for the second round in a row. You can see Rogue does have control of Karaoke. They're going to need to try to get that diffuser down as the smokes from Slash's Jackal go off. And it's just Thinking Nade and Chala left as the diffuser will finally go down.
Love that predetermined plant spot as Chala attempts to deny the defuse. He is going to get the kill on the slash shot. King George, though, got the run out from Thinking Nade, and now it's all Chala against the world. Brian and King George ready to reciprocate on that kill, but they don't have the diffuser control, and that's the most important thing here. If Chala can maintain control of the B bomb site window, he pretty much has this. And as the last two Rogue players, they push in through the Geisha, they're bottlenecking themselves in this situation. And obviously King George going to read into that, get onto the B window. Has found the right position. King George pressing into B. Gonna get hit by that Ella. He needs to get the defuse plant though with only 22 seconds. He's got to start applying the pressure. He's gonna go for the flashbang and the rush. Will he get the kill though? Sees the shoulder of Chala, and that's all it takes. King George with an excellent play there. Definitely locking out that round. And that I think is the right call. If Rogue had decided in that situation, okay, let's grab the diffuser, cover the plant, I think that would have been the incorrect call because Chala, being the player that he is going to be, I think, putting himself in a great position to retake that bomb site, get the kill on the defuse planter. And obviously the Thatcher, if he had missed the shot on the Ella rotating through the hallway, he would have had no way to refrag his teammate and would have put it into a 1v1. And again, Chala wins those.
He does. He was holed up inside of T-Room. Really not a lot of opportunity for him to do, and all they really had to do was just wait out that time. Take a look at Rogue at the moment, though. Brian top fragging. Brian was very quiet in the first two matches last week. Wasn't really needed. Played that support role. A lot of the anchor opportunities he had when he was on site. WBG just, be honest, they didn't really get to the site to need Brian to get that fragging potential. So we didn't see a whole lot from him, but we know his capabilities from when he played with Excellence last season. He was far and away one of their highest frag getters, and now you can see that when the need arises on Rogue, he can shoulder that load too. I really liked his play, and especially the patience. He trusted King George to get that kill. He was able to open up that wall on the south side of T-Room. And what that did was that didn't allow Chala to push up onto the other doorway to contest Brian, and he basically had to wait, and then you saw the very well-timed flashbang from George, and he ran in. Yeah, it was a great read by them.
Yeah, it was an absolutely great read, specifically also by King George. I mean, we're talking about Brian. Both of them played that situation perfectly. And now, it is going to be Rogue with the lead. Now, we were all expecting this, I think. But Most Wanted, they've got that chance to bring it back here as now they're attacking onto, I believe that's the bottom bomb site here. Or no, they're going back upstairs, excuse me. That's the top bomb site still from Rogue. We haven't seen anything else from either of these teams yet, of course. It has been primarily attacker-sided for both of these teams. Entirely attacker-sided, in fact. Neither one has really put up much of a fight on that defense yet.
Both of them have been exceptionally aggressive as well on both attack and defense. Extremely aggro, just running into each other and always taking their fights. And we're going to see first frag goes to Trippin on Eclipse, who doesn't try to play his angle. Slashug is going to take down Redeemer, and 4v4. This is something that we've seen a lot of as well. Immediate refrags from both teams.
Yeah, but Rogue maintaining control of drum for this long is a little bit abnormal. Usually the defenders will fall off the drum angle as soon as they get challenged. And it's because of things like that. Chala positioning himself perfectly downstairs, waiting for the rotation from Slashug into the main stairs, and getting the kill that is oh so necessary. Now Rogue is the ones that are the ones at the disadvantage because they lingered for so long inside of drum. And they also have lost downstairs control. Now this is important as well. The diffuser has been put down by the attackers on the east side of the building, and that's going to mean at least 20 seconds for one of the attackers to rotate around, pick that up, and start bringing it to the bomb site. And there it is. But that does waste a lot of time. It's something to note, sort of thing that Most Wanted is going to probably need to work on in the future.
You will see they will get pushed out of the site as well by that remote gas grenade, and they've got to push in the next 10 to 15 seconds. Brian's SMG-11 is going to make quick work of the buck of King Leo, and now we have a 3v3. Trippin gets a kill onto Brian. And now it's 3v2 in favor of Most Wanted, and this is really when they need to start their push in earnest. King George is cycled out, Avian just rushes out, and a great shot from the Supernova before he gets taken up by Chalice. So it's just King George left in a 1v2, and he's trapped inside of Geisha. You can see Trippin does have the diffuser, and we're just going to wait. Chalice going to see him and take him out, and a great play. Skyscraper is absolutely his match, and it's 2-2 heading into round number 5.
Can we see the scoreboard real quick, Marsu? I want to see where Chala is right now on the scoreboard because he has had some...
I think he has 6 or 7.
He has a very impressive play so far in this match. And it is actually kind of surprising, to be honest, that he's going to be coming off of his last performance, going into this one now, and it's just the same thing. It's Chala, Chala, Chala. He's been putting in a lot of work for Most Wanted. But overall, just on that round, it was great control over specifically Terrace and Drum. Now, that's one thing I want to emphasize is Terrace and Drum. They saw that Rogue was placing a lot of emphasis on that, and there it is. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen,
he's
Chala
halfway
with
to
8
16
kills. He has almost half of his team's kills, obviously -3. But he's been putting in a ton of work for his team. Anyway, point here is, on that last round, Most Wanted, they saw from the last time they attacked the top 4. Rogue playing a tremendous amount of emphasis on the Drum. They figured to themselves this round, all right, we're going to take control of the Terrace early on. We're still going to clear out the east side, but then we're going to bring Chala up underneath the main stairs because that's the primary rotation factor for the defenders inside of Rome. And then it was a simple pinch. And then once they had that man advantage, they also had downstairs control. It was a pretty easy attack from there on.
No real contest for him on those stairs as well to be able to push up, and that was when King George had no opportunity to rotate because of just simply the way that they put up their reinforcements. And one thing that I think is worth touching upon is that obviously people are going to give praise and commendation to the way that Chala is playing. He deserves it. But there's a way that a team can play around a strong fragger like that. We see it with Shaiko,
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
Oh, yeah.
It allows them an opportunity to build their composition around that player to get those frags. So yes, Chala is incredible on this map. But you can't just give him thanks alone. It goes to all the rest.
I mean, just to cite one specific example to reinforce your argument is that Chala on that last attack round, he was the guy who's going to be doing the pincering on the guys, or the defenders at Drum. He's the guy who came up from the main stairs and was waiting for those kills to walk into him. And that, yeah, okay, it's good that he fulfilled his job and his role, but, you know, also it was kind of, that's his job is to get those kills.
Right.
It could have been he was the one pushing from Terrace, just trying to apply the pressure and force the rotation from the defenders, but it wasn't. Now, on that note, Most Wanted this round are not applying, well, they haven't been, but this round they also are not applying any pressure to Drum, which means Rogue is going to have early control over the Drum side of things. They do have information gathering on the Drum with that Valkyrie camera, but that's not really going to give them much presence there. As the meanwhile, Rogue, they are putting a lot of pressure onto all the different windows of this bomb site. They have already downed one defender inside of the BE bomb site. That's the Mira, Trippin. It's very good early pressure to have is getting him down. I don't think he's going to be recovered from Most Wanted. They're probably just going to let him bleed out, which is unfortunate for Most Wanted, but also good for Rogue. Thinking Nade has been spotted out here. Slashhug waiting for his opportunity. Eclipse going to be aggressing on the angle, and he will get the pre-fire. Nice headshot there onto Thinking Nade. Meanwhile, Brian with a kill onto Trippin. It's already looking great for Rogue in this round. The refrag from Chala, though, this is, again, Chala showing up for his team. It's oh so necessary. That's the main problem, though, that he actually gets those kills.
I'm curious to know if they're ignoring him some rounds to allow them to take out the supporting cast, as that's what it seemed like it was. Unfortunately, Thinking Nade was just in a really rough spot there. There was almost no way for him to get out. You can see the way that Slashhug was above. Even if he did get the kill, it would have been a trade. Now Redeemer's going to get Avian, and we're going to see Chala come in. He's going to miss King George. He's going to finally get him, but he's all out of ammo. Brian, what an incredible double kill from Chala onto King George and Brian. And now Eclipse takes out King Leo. It's Eclipse versus Chala. He's going to pre-fire through that wall, and only 30 seconds left. Chala comes around the corner, and Eclipse cools him off as Rogue stretches their lead to 1. It's 3-2.
An excellent recovery there from Eclipse. Nice try from Chala, though. Excellent, or really great pistol kill on the attacker pushing in through that main A window. Ultimately, though, the man advantage being so askew, there wasn't much potential for a recovery there for Most Wanted. While Chala is certainly trying, it's just not enough for him to be the one getting all the kills. And, you know, of course, it's just the one guy, but, I mean, he's the guy getting the frags right now in every situation, even on defense where the roles are a little bit more loose. I want to see, or I would love to see Most Wanted not losing so many people early on in these rounds. 11 frags in 5 rounds. Now on the 6th, it's that 3-2 lead for Rogue, though, and it's not really going to matter.
27 frags over a game and a half of Skyscraper.
Very impressive.
That's absurd.
Yep.
That is patently absurd.
Yep. It really, truly is. But will he be able to continue that, and will it be enough for his team? As they, despite it, again, it's still 3-2 in favor of the opposite team, Rogue, who has been putting in a lot of excellent teamwork. We'll just talk about them for a second since they're the ones winning right now. Have been putting in a lot of excellent teamwork in this map to get themselves that lead. And I really love their level of coordination. It is honestly impressive to see. I hope it continues for them. We'll see how that goes. They are going to be actually roaming on the east side of things this time, which is a little bit different for both teams. Now, we've seen much more aggressive play on the defensive side for Rogue in this map, which, by the way, hang on, we'll just talk about the attackers real quick. Nobody's won a defense yet. It's just not happening for either team. Anyway, we've seen very aggressive defense roams from Rogue, but not quite to this extent. They are going to be playing towards delivery, which is where you just saw Eclipse. They're going to be playing on the far east side of the building, which we haven't seen at all yet. It's been mostly just aggression in drum. And that's like, it's interesting to me because what happened to Rogue to make them lose their last defense of this floor was they got pincered inside of drum, right? And now their answer isn't to get more passive, it's to get more aggressive, to roam more heavily, which to me seems like counterintuitive. I hope it works out for them, though. It's a really interesting take on how to counter-strat Most Wanted.
And I like that we've seen 5 rounds on the same site, but every single round, despite the fact that attackers have won it, have played out remarkably different.
Right.
Too.
No, that is a really good point.
So it shows you that just because you lose a site doesn't mean that you say, okay, well, we're never going to win this site. Take heed of that and realize there's multiple ways to play this site. Watch this level of play and learn from it. Eclipse is going to get a kill onto Trimmer. Now Slashhug is trying to take out the Ying of Redeemer, but can't do it. He's holed up inside a work office, and if Redeemer slow peeks him, that's going to be it for him. Just like that, Slashhug gets a kill on Redeemer, and Rogue now breathing a little bit easier as they're up 5-3. And King Leo waiting for that Ella to push out. He's going to frag and then push from another direction. And Slash is going to come out, but he's going to get taken down by King Leo. I don't know if that's a kill that King Leo should have gotten, but he gets it nonetheless. And now we see that it is a 4v3 in favor of Rogue with just over a minute left to play. A hole from above, Chala will survey and can almost see the foot of Eclipse, but gets spotted through that hole. And now he's going to wait for the push-up as Eclipse gets a couple shots on him, and he'll have to move. Just under a minute to go.
Loading mag.
It's time for Most Wanted to begin their ascent to the site. And Chala's going to put himself in position by taking control of those stairs that you can see Eclipse on. The first smoke is going to go down. They still have that Echo as well. I like, once again, Rogue is running the dual smoke Echo combination. And the Supernova to Avian, I think, speaks to how strong it is now. Since the changes to the shotgun, and especially the buff to the Supernova as well. Another smoke is now going to go out. And Chala is going to have to start his push through this window in the next 5 to 10 seconds as another smoke goes. King Leo doesn't kill himself with the nade, but Brian this time around. Excellent job by him. And now 3-3. Thinking nade is going to be able to get the kill on Eclipse, and Chala is in. But there is the diffuser in his arms. He's going to start the plant through that reinforced wall. King George goes for King Leo, and he gets it. The better king right now. And Chala getting the diffuse off. They're going to find out very quickly. King George is going to go to rotate through. Chala gets the kill. That's his 12th. And Avian's going to try to get him. He will. Down but not out. And oh boy, Thinking nade bleeding out as well. Avian is going to get the final cleanup kill, pad his stats, get the diffuser quite easily, and we will head to match point in favor of Rogue, 4-2.
And also worth talking about, the very first defense win there of this entire map. And it, again, puts it on the match point. That's very impressive there for Rogue. Although a little bit, the main thing there is they broke the mold, right? And the reason, the way that they broke the mold, like you said, mixing things up. I love what they did there. Going more aggressive instead of passive, which is what most teams would have opted to do, because already, arguably, Rogue was extremely aggressive onto the drum side of things. They were doing about a 50% control of that top floor, which is a lot. Usually teams will just forfeit that, which is what we've seen Most Wanted do. But they're like, no. We're going to go ahead and we're going to extend ourselves over the entire map, not only the top floor in its entirety, but also downstairs as well. Some great play from Eclipse downstairs. And after that, he rotated back up before getting eliminated getting pinched by the attackers. So I really love that play on the roam game from Rogue. This communication and coordination, as you can see, the scoreboard from Rogue specifically is much more balanced as opposed to what we have on Most Wanted now. 12 kills from Chala and then 4 to 3 for everybody else. I mean, obviously, yes, of course, Chala's being the guy being put in the position to get those kills. But he's also just a guy right now who's fulfilling his role perfectly, not messing up on his specific job, and then picking up other people's jobs. That's what I'm seeing. I mean, it's not like you don't want to put too much praise on one guy, but the truth is that he is overextending himself, and that's what I'm seeing here. And unfortunately, what I'm seeing from the rest of the guys from Most Wanted just isn't enough. Now, we are going to actually see a mix-up from Most Wanted, despite not winning the top floor. They're going to have to go downstairs. Now, what do you think about this change? Do you think this is a smart move, or do you think they should stick with what they know?
Well, I mean, take a look at Most Wanted so far. You've lost every single defense upstairs. You lose this defense, it's game over. So you might as well try if you don't feel particularly comfortable. We saw with Flipside yesterday, even though they weren't holding as badly as some people thought, the reason why they went to Bakery was because they believed that it would give them an opportunity to play better on a site that they hadn't played on yet. I think the same thing is going to happen with Most Wanted here. It's not an unconventional site by any means. This is something that we've seen them defend before, and they've done so successfully. They did so against Elevate successfully. So with you're doing this is the opportunity for you to roll the die. If you already know it hasn't been working and you're losing, you got to try something new, because if you just keep repeating the same thing, it's going to be a 5-2 outcome in favor of Rogue, and you're going to head to the second matchup down by 1. I like this for Most Wanted. I also like that Redeemer has swapped off of the smoke to the Echo. I think this is something that will give them a bit more mileage as well.
Something that's really interesting here is they're actually taking notes from the Elevate top floor defense strat, the things they had to deal with when they were going against Elevate, and instead of playing just within Geisha, they're actually extending themselves over the top floor in its entirety on the west side. So 50% of the top floor is total. Which is very different. It's, again, it's the complete opposite of what they did last time. And I like this change. I think it's going to benefit them a lot. They're using that same crossfire that Elevate used against them successfully, despite, of course, them losing the map. And it is probably going to be really good for them. Now, as Rogue push in through delivery, going through storage hallway into B, they are going to have to be worried about that top floor control from Geisha. And as the challenge comes on, King Leo will be eliminated by Brian. The defuse plant starts going down. Slashrock with another kill on the cover of the plant. Eclipse with a third on the Chala, all the way up in Drum. It's looking great here for Rogue as they forfeit the top floor control and simply push it to the bomb site. Redeemer with the refrag though onto Avian, still having someone upstairs. Tripping's gonna get down. It's all down to Redeemer. Not enough. Rogue simply pushing in through the delivery. That's all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. And that will be map number 1 in favor of Rogue in quite a decisive manner.
Two things that fell apart for Most Wanted in 2 very important rounds was you only had one person really on that site in earnest, and the moment that you lost them, Rogue got in and planted real fast. And I think King George touched on it in the interview, but one of the things he said was fix the issues that the other teams have had with their roam game. And you saw that right here and right now, is that with as good of a roam game as Most Wanted has, they basically realized that their site game's not so strong. Let's just take the site and get right in.
Let's take a look at the highlights from that map, and I think there were quite a lot from both teams. But on the note of that last round, I completely agree. I think it really comes down to the fact that they saw the roam game and they're like, we'll just not. And again, the interesting thing there is usually a team will say, okay, we're not going to make this push, the push that Rogue made, which is straight through delivery, storage hallway into B. They'll say that we're not going to make this push specifically because we don't want to worry about upstairs control, that Geisha control, that drop down. It's so much pressure that the defenders can exert onto the bomb site from above. And Rogue, again, using the fact that it's a two-way angle and they can just as easily challenge that drop as the defenders can challenge people inside the kitchen, simply waiting for the challenge because they know it's going to happen. They know it's coming. Love that pistol kill there from Chala.
That was a beautiful setup.
It really was. And I love that read from them, understanding that they don't have to force out Geisha control. They could just walk in and challenge from below.
I'm sure a disappointing result for them, but this is the Rogue that we saw against WBG, and a team that is this good can make good and great teams look average. We'll see if Rogue is able to keep it up, as Oregon is going to be game number 2. And for Oregon, we saw that that was when Most Wanted really broke the pack against Elevate. If you take a look, I believe on both Border and Skyscraper last week, there was never a point where either Elevate nor Most Wanted had more than a 1 to 2 round lead on each other. It was Oregon where it was blown wide open, and Most Wanted just looked so good. Their Ying play was fantastic. They hunted the roamers of Elevate down with great precision. Of course, there was that one play by Trippin, if you remember, on the shot from Skies. And we're going to see if they're going to be able to do the same thing, because you saw against WBG last week how Slashug and Eclipse did on their roam game. It was very different from Elevate's roam game. Elevate's roam game was not as in-your-face as Rogue's was. This is a lot more upfront, and it provides that dangerous front line to give you a lot of pause when you try to get inside of the building.
The specific thing that I think is going to give Most Wanted an edge, and we're going to be loading into the match in just a second here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's going to be on Oregon. The specific thing that I think is going to give Rogue the edge, actually, in this match is, remember when you talked to King George in the interview and you asked him anything that he's going to be focusing on when you talked about that roam game? That is going to be most emphasized on Oregon. Yes. So let's just hop into the game real quick here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Oregon, Rogue on attack, Most Wanted on defense. It's going to be starting with that top floor from Most Wanted. And anyway, this is actually the round and the defense that I wanted to talk about from Most Wanted, because Rogue, obviously, they watch the VOD. They know what Most Wanted does here. They know that Most Wanted's roam game against Elevate was extremely elusive. They were very much playing loose, trying not to take any unnecessary fights. Oh, and then when they got into those fights, winning them. So I think that there's going to be some really interesting strategies to hunt those roamers down on this bomb site from Rogue. And I think that's going to be their specific primary focus here. Obviously, they kind of told us that a little bit. But I'm excited to see what it is that they have come up with.
And one big change right off the bat for me for Most Wanted is the castle play. I do not recall them relying a lot on a castle last time around.
You're correct, and it could be an indication that they have completely adapted their strategy from when they played against Elevate, which, if that is the case, then Rogue might be in for a surprise here.
Yes. And especially with how suffocating Most Wanted seemed to be. There was just nothing that Elevate could really get going. And when you are able to subdue that duo of Laxing and Skies, which I'm sure we will get to see on full display in our second matchup tonight, but in the meantime, when you're able to subdue that roaming duo the way that they did and contain them, it doesn't bode well for the rest of the site players. For Elevate to put a lot of undue pressure on them, they weren't really able to make anything work. And you could see that Rogue has been able to push into showers and lockers there, get some openings, and begin their assault onto Oregon.
A lot more direct challenge waiting for Rogue here from Most Wanted than we're used to seeing on this roam. This is reminiscent actually of Rogue's defense of the top floor that we were seeing the last time they played against World Best Gaming. So maybe Most Wanted taking a couple notes from Rogue, but whatever the case, they have smoked off the mirror window and they are going to be pushing in here to the kitchen.
They'll put a lot of effort into flushing out that bandit of King Leo. And you can see even everything such as the smoke and the suppressed shots from Glaz as well. It's not going to provide a lot of opportunity for him to get in. First frag's going to go to Eclipse. Of course, this is the map that we saw him get a wonderful ace on last time, and a suppressed shot from Slash will take Trippin down. Now King Leo will fall as well for a double kill from Slash. And there's only two left, Chala and Redeemer left on site. This is surgical precision right now from Rogue to pick them apart. Redeemer will see the rotate of Hibana beneath him. And Chala is going to wait to try to tangle with Brian. He'll get a kill, so Most Wanted gets on the board. But from beneath, Eclipse will buck him out of his spot and force them both to hold up and waste, essentially, one of those beauties to try and stop that push onto them up those white stairs into Kid Storms.
So despite Most Wanted actually changing, whoa, another nice shot there from Slashug. Now it's a 1 versus 4. It seems like it's pretty much going to be down to Rogue just playing this smart. It is Chala, though, in a position here. He sees the barrel, but unfortunately does not react to it. The fourth kill from Slashug here. Nice 4K there, ladies and gentlemen, from Slash. Unfortunate that the Buck got the single kill in the denying the ace, but good kill all the same. Anyway, so the strat overall, you could see there, the new stuff from Rogue. Bring that glass to counteract the mirror window inside of the kitchen, and then simply push into the kitchen, establish that downstairs control, and then start to push up. But the thing is, again, it's Most Wanted changing that I think is actually the problem here for them. Because the way that they used to play that kitchen defense, from what I saw for the most part, was just, we'll play in the kitchen until we get pressured, and then we'll leave. We'll just leave. And they didn't do that this time. And I think because of that lack of elusiveness, that lack of just kind of playing loose, allowed Rogue to basically hammer them against the anvil there on that round.
And I liked their coordinated push as well. You saw it yesterday on full display, the way that they could not dislodge Canadian from that mirror, or the dual mirrors technically, as he had one open inside of Kitchen. So what did they do this time around? Well, Canadian was able to escape with a kill to, in some cases I believe he got 3 kills hold up on that mirror. Instead of bothering to contest them, they deprived that mirror of its biggest advantage, which is the line of sight into the living room and into the hallway. So of course they smoke it, Eclipse rotates around to the showers. He's able to push in through that bathroom, through that soft wall, into the back of Kitchen, which now forces King Leo at that mirror to either have to contest the glass or run for cover. He tries to run for cover, can't do it, and they picked 3 of them apart, and Slash's glass was just able to push up and get 2 of those 3 inside of that area, inside of Kitchen, and that was it. And the whole thing fell apart from that point. It put too much pressure on Redeemer and Chala, and I think the big thing for Rogue right now is they're letting Chala be the last alive. He's been the last alive 3 or 4 rounds by my count, and that makes it that even if he's going to be able to get his kill, or 12 of them, he's still going to have an army to go against.
Way too much,
and it's just he can't do it.
Yeah. And here you can see from Rogue, their very aggressive roam game over towards Cafeteria is being circumventilated here by Most Wanted, because they're simply going for a armory master bedroom attack instead. And I think that's the smart play, because what we've seen from Rogue on that Cafeteria has honestly been some very impressive play, using Cafeteria, lockers, and Kitchen in tandem to try and hold out the attack coming from the small junk tower. So yeah, good call here from Most Wanted. Excellent strategic decision there. Trippin going to get the first frag of this round onto Slashug. That was one of the roamers, I believe, up in attic. No, he was rotating in through Kitchen. Interesting there. So good early control over the meeting hall from Most Wanted. A little bit of a missed call. Avian upstairs in the attic might have said when he was prompted to Slashug, oh yeah, meeting hall's clear, simply because he has that vertical control. Because of that, the blind rotation, Slashug got caught off guard, and easy frag there for Trippin. But now, Trippin is not aware of Avian's presence in the attic. So, will Avian be able to linger for longer and get a nice flank later into the round? Redeemer gets another kill onto Avian, and it's already looking really good for Most Wanted.
Excellent job for them so far. Brian moved at the last second right as Chala peeked him. And that could have been an easy frag for Rogue onto the Hibana and Diffuser hold. And one thing, too, with Chala that we saw this time around, as a grenade goes down, and what a play as Trippin also gets a kill on Eclipse. And now it's just King George left, a 1v5, and he is in a lot of trouble. Standing inside of kids' dorms, you can hear those candelas go off. He'll try to take Thinking Nade down, but the Jackal will win that fight, and Most Wanted keeps it close as we are tied up 1-1. And just to finish my thought, the one thing that we saw last time on this map was that Chala was not their primary fragger on Oregon. He was given the role of diffuser. So it was up to him to do that. Something that they can, of course, switch off of is if they feel it's not particularly working, then you can have him go to that fragging potential and give the diffuser to somebody else. And now we'll head to laundry room and supply room downstairs. An echo from Redeemer, and we'll see. Is King George going to lock in the Ying? Yes, he does.
So, just to quickly tap on this real quick, I have to say, I think that King Leo has been practicing his nades. Like he's definitely been going into custom games by himself, just be like, all right, grenade arcs, grenade arcs,
blowing
grenade
myself
arcs.
up again.
Because because he's not going to blow himself up again. Very impressive nade play from King Leo throughout both of these maps, I have to say. Really, props to you for that, coming off of a couple mistakes there and turning it into some excellent play in the nade department. That's good. But yeah, no, in general, also from Most Wanted, excellent play overall. I really love that attack strategy, completely avoiding the defense in Cafeteria and Kitchen, which is, I feel, the defense roam game that a lot of teams just kind of fall into attacking these days. It's just like, oh, they're going to be playing in Kitchen, and we need to get the vertical control from below, and that's what you got to do. And I really like that Most Wanted is just like, nah, we're just not going to do that. We're going to go over to the armory and the master bedroom, and we're just going to attack in like normal, because it's a good way to avoid any roamers influencing our round at all. And since Rogue has been putting such an emphasis on that roam game, and they did in that last round, they put, I think, 3 or 4 players on the roam game, it really wasn't that difficult to just take into the bomb site. And they had a great execution there. Now, though, we are somewhere else entirely, defending the basement instead from Most Wanted. And it is going to be an aggressive push from over towards the meeting hall. Whoa, he shot Thinking Nade. What an angle. We've seen that drone hole used quite a lot of times by multiple players throughout many matches, and honestly, it's interesting to me that anyone can ignore it at this point in time in the Pro League. King George, unfortunately, not thinking of every possible angle, and some really good play there from Thinking Nade. Will put now Most Wanted in. So obviously, Eclipse hasn't been practicing his nades. He's going to have to take a note from King Leo, I think, moving forward. But
the King Leo school of frag grenade throws right
maybe
there.
They can,
he's the #1 student.
Yeah, he can communicate to Eclipse after this and can be like, all right, man, let's work on this together.
You got potential.
We got to bring each other up, better each other. But yeah, no, as this round goes forward, Most Wanted still retaining control of that meeting hall. Rogue still focused on a main lobby drop take.
And one of the things, too, to not underscore how great of a frag that was on Thinking Nade, regardless of the operator it was on, that is no Ying for them now. And that's a huge issue when you're trying to get a plan off downstairs with how much this meta has now revolved around that. The Ying is entirely off the board. No Candelas and no smokes available to them. And that is a problem. They still have 2 smokes through glass. You can hear what sounds like them going off as they will hit that hatch. And King Leo from above is going to take out Eclipse. And that is the buck down. And now Trippin is going to be able to blow open that wall. And Slashdown gets a kill on T'Challa as Brian gets one on Trippin. It's 3v3 with just under a minute left in round number 3. Thinking Nade gets that. Claymore will now push up. And I don't know if Brian's going to get found out. Redeemer gets a kill on Avi, and that's good fragging potential from the angle. Redeemer a second on the Slash, and now it's just Brian as he takes King Leo down, but Thinking Nade does the unthinkable. Gets Brian holed up inside a classroom, and we see Most Wanted's first lead of the day, 2-1.
Good hold there, and I have to, I'd like to reinforce that point that you made, is the loss of the Candelas and the smokes early on. Yes, they still had the glass, but that's not as much as they were planning on having in the disruption department. And that specifically didn't cost them the round per se, but it was arguably the most important operator on attack to have off the board early on in that round. Right. If she had been able to use her utility, it could have been a completely different story. But I think the primary reason that Most Wanted won that round is honestly just the roam game. So even despite that disruption loss, it was mostly to do with the fact that Rogue did not have a good enough cover on the meeting hall, and they also didn't have any cover towards kitchen rotation later into the round. And I think that was probably King George's secondary role. So obviously the strategy is, King George, you're going to throw down your smokes when we go in for the push, you're going to throw down your Candelas, and then you're going to rotate over to cover the flank hold and the kitchen rotation specifically. And because he was not available to do that, they didn't appoint anyone else to take up the role, and ended up falling apart from for them from there. But now, Rogue defending the top floor yet again as they were unsuccessful here. Most Wanted got to be feeling very confident attacking onto this bomb site, considering how successful they were last time they were here. And I want to know, is Rogue going to be making the rotation that is also necessary to hold the Armory Master? Because as you can see from Most Wanted spawns, it's pretty obvious. They're doing the same attack strategy. They want to go into Armory and Master. They want to avoid that roam towards the cafeteria and kitchen completely. Definitely the smart play. But there's no read coming out here from Rogue. There's nobody on the east side of the building right now, and I think that's going to be a problem for them moving forward.
Unless, of course, they are aware of that and giving them that opportunity,
possible.
Which is something doable, and we've seen that a couple times where you'll concede almost an entire floor to them and then still be able to take them down from another level. Consulate, Penta versus B-Genius is one example that immediately comes to mind that we saw last week. Penta would repeatedly give that entire first floor Slash Hug now, missing a bound, and what a great frag onto Trippin, and that is the anti-roamer down now. How Trippin is able to hunt them out, and they still have not been able to flush Slash out as well.
They're tangling a lot more with the roamers this round than they did in the last attack, and it actually has been working against them. Eclipse going to be put in a position to actually... oh, wow. Eclipse and Slash Hug are getting aggressive onto King Leo. King Leo, though, ready to receive them. And Eclipse not going for the reflag will actually be taken out as he looks at the drone. A double kill for King Leo. That's extremely good pressure onto the roam game. Despite losing Trippin early on, it will be an excellent recovery here for Most Wanted.
And the last roamer, not necessarily a roamer, but just a little off-site. The Bandit of Avian hold up inside a meeting. And now Chala's going to try to flush out. You're going to know where the smoke and the mirror are. It's pretty standard for their position on this site. It's now going to come down to where Avian goes next. And it looks like he'll head towards the tower. but instead now looks to go and press up into Meeting Hall. Redeemer, with that enormous magazine, is going to wait for Avian to peek. They will have to remove the smoke of Brian, a strong player on that mirror window. He will have a big example, and he can see him. He can see him. He can see the top of the visor of Bandit, but wasn't able to get it. And now some pressure from below being applied from King Leo, as Avian is going to be a man under fire. Brian will try to give Avian some support by an excellent smoke to prevent Redeemer from pushing in, and will now guard that one site where Chala is ready to come in and plant the diffuser.
Lay the nest.
He's going to miss it. There's lots of missing these gadgets here today. Another smoke is going to go down onto Chala, and very well timed. And now the Candelas to try and dissuade the Mira and the smoke from pushing out. And we're going to see another Candela go down onto Avian, but he will not be blinded. A good C4 from King George onto Chala. Avian managed to get the frag on Redeemer, and now it is 3v2. Thinking Nate is going to get downed, and Avian and King George take the last two out, and we are tied. Can these teams get any more even than what we're seeing right now?
Great defense there from Rogue. Specifically gotta reference the fact that they managed to maintain a crossfire from attic to everywhere else in the bomb sites throughout the entire round. There was not enough pressure applied to Avian inside of that attic early on in the round, and because his position was left not accounted for, he was able to really apply a lot of pressure to that most wanted attack, despite the very successful most wanted roam clear earlier in the round. Now, this right here, by the way, 2-2, is where Rogue started winning round after round after round on Skyscraper earlier in this series. It was 2-2, then the next round, round 5, 6, and 7, all went in favor of Rogue. So this is where Most Wanted needs to get these rounds and start to break that trend and not let it slip away from them like they did last time. Because if they're unsuccessful there, we're not going to see a third map. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I want to see a third map between these two teams. It has been some excellent play so far.
Especially on Bank.
Yes, on Bank, and because that's a lot of thing. I think Bank is a map that's going to actually give us a lot of factors that we haven't accounted for so far. Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of Jackal play. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of Jackal play, which is cool to see every time. Like, for example, Slashug on the Glaz play. It's one of those things that's really cool to see, and it's specifically to counter a factor of this map, which is that mirror window inside of Kitchen. You just saw Trippin plays. It's exactly to counter that one thing. And I love that Rogue is bringing that out. I think it is a really good direct counter for this for that situation, which is oh so common. And I think it's the sort of thing that's probably going to be utilized by a lot of other teams moving forward. They're going to see this and they're going to go, oh, yeah, that's a good way to handle that. We'll do that.
Oregon definitely seems like the test range or the training grounds for this new meta with all the different operators and holds we're seeing as well.
100%.
And with Bank, the two, just not to step too far off this match, because we are into round number 5 now, as they will push up on King Leo and Kitchen. I like Bank because of the diversity of maps. And what a shot from Trippin, and that's the Glaz down right away. What? What a shot that was. A great play through the reinforced door, and you have lost your Glaz. That is going to blunt the momentum. And now Chala is going to get naded. Eclipse not missing that time. A good throw.
So good reciprocation from Eclipse. Very important.
But now you can see that they're able to rotate too. And that's a good idea to be able to push out into that little pantry because they don't have the pressure from the Glaz through that room. And you can see Eclipse is going to get a grenade off. It's not going to do anything to King Leo, but he is going to be under fire. And he'll Bandit trick on the mirror window to keep it alive. Rogue expending a lot of time and a lot of effort on this hold in particular. And they still really haven't been able to get their way up towards that bomb site. You've got Trippin, you've got Thinking Nade, and you've got King Leo all downstairs. You're putting a lot of faith in Redeemer to be able to hold, and now you've lost one of those roamers as King Leo falls to Brian.
The pressure is mounting here for Most Wanted, but it's mostly to do with the slow, methodical push from Rogue. Despite losing that Glaz, they can still make it work for them. And that's a very impressive recovery from Rogue, now putting themselves at that man advantage. With 1 minute left, all they have to deal with downstairs is Trippin inside of the kitchen. They're going to push onto him very aggressively, and it's not even necessary for King George to flank around as Brian gets the necessary frag from the front angle. But Thinking Nade still inside the tower will actually take out King George while he's not paying attention to that angle. And now trying to even it out just a little bit. Rogue still has the advantage, but they're going to be bottlenecking themselves pushing up these wide stairs. We will lose Redeemer inside of the bomb site, and that's the last anger. It's all down to Thinking Nade coming up from behind on these white stairs. He's looking for the roam holds, but they don't exist. It's going to be Brian at the top of the white stairs to receive him.
It doesn't look like he's going to see him. No, Brian gets kill number 3 on the round, and Rogue takes the lead again.
Uh-oh. This is exactly what we saw on Skyscraper repeating. And I was honestly hopeful for Most Wanted when they killed the Glaz, the earlier stages of that round. It seemed like a bit of a lucky kill, but also just in general, a very good read there. I believe that was Trippin.
Yes.
But it wasn't enough. They did blunt the momentum. They'd slowed it down, but it just wasn't. It wasn't an all-out killer because there was still the backup smokes from King George as well as the Candelas to provide the disruption that is necessary. And you know what's funny? I remember last time we interviewed King George, and he's all like, "Yeah, no, I feel like Ying is being forced in the meta."
And now he plays her.
It's you know, Rogue makes better use of that new Ying meta, I think, than most other North American teams. You know, so at least he's doing a good job of it. That's the important thing to take away. But it's kind of like, yeah, well, this is what's happening. Maybe he was trying to mislead us and everybody else. I think that was it. It's got to be.
We got bamboozled.
Bamboozled again.
We were bamboozled again. But he is using it very, very well, and you could see the big difference maker was that the Ying was able to stay alive right till the very end, and you saw the effectiveness. They didn't even necessarily need it on site. It was applied to flush out the roamers, which is what I think they were trying to do last time around, but Thinking Nate got that very important early frag onto King George and took it all away from him.
Yeah, and also that nade from Eclipse. We harped a little bit on Eclipse's nading earlier in the round.
Before he could do anything.
Yeah, but if it weren't for that refrag with that nade, I think that it would have been a successful complete stop of the push from Most Wanted. So that was very important that he actually got the man count back and evened out. It does have the mentality a lot of an attack where you lose someone early on that you weren't expecting to lose because they were barely even exposed, and then you manage to even it out. That's super big for the team's morale. Most Wanted, though, they, in this round, have cleared out the west side of the building, pushed all of the roamers to the meeting hall. Very common strat. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. There is, however, going to still be people from Rogue retaining their positions inside a meeting hall. Eclipse looking for the C4 into King Lua. Will actually hit it. An excellent C4 there, looped up into the attic. That's also going to create a rotation hole that most Rogue can use later into this round. And as they get their second kill of the round on the Thinking Nade, Most Wanted challenging the wrong angles at the wrong times, and they are putting themselves at the disadvantage. Despite still having plenty of time in this round to execute, they now have lost a lot of utility in their two of their 4 smokes as well, and all of their nades.
And one thing that was a big difference maker between the team that Most Wanted is facing right now in Rogue and last week in Elevate, that was touched upon very briefly before, is how almost passive we saw from Elevate. They played a little bit deep because Most Wanted has a great anti-roam game. They were able to hunt them down, isolate them, and eliminate them.
He got spotted.
And you can see that Avian does get spotted. I don't think he knows he's been found out from above, but he pushes, and Redeemer gets the first kill for Most Wanted. You can see some Candelas going off as well. Not really needed, as Eclipse gets a refrag onto Chala, and it's just Trippin and Redeemer left. Redeemer with a sliver of health, holding onto that diffuser. Slash Hug from below is going to apply some pressure through that open hatch in a meeting hall, upwards into Addict. Not aware that Redeemer now sits on the other side, but oh, great impact nade.
Gotta catch ball.
Down goes Redeemer.
Oh,
only 150 to go, and now Trippin is going to be able to eliminate Eclipse. Gets hit by that concussion mine, and they know roughly where he is. And they need to hold on for 45 seconds. It's just Trippin, the man who has been so proficient at being able to stop the roam game. Slash Hug is going to try to take away that verticality from Trippin, hole him up inside a garage, and it's a tough task as he will try to get out. And Slash Hug looks away at the last second, but they still have strong control over site. Brian rips Trippin apart, and we are at match point. And 2 things to note for me here. Number 1, when Most Wanted was so good at taking out that roam game, they were almost unstoppable on site. I don't think they lost a single site take after they took out Elevate's roamers. But you see Rogue is playing very upfront and challenging them. We saw it with Eclipse, playing inside a meeting hall as strong as he did, and they're taking away the maneuverability that Most Wanted had, and they're making them play their own game, and right now, they're on match point, and this series could be over in the next 3 minutes.
If we're going to reference Elevate, let's talk about the differences between Rogue's and Elevate's roam game. So what we were seeing from Elevate was arguably very similar. They were playing pretty much primarily inside of the meeting hall on that basement defense, which is what Rogue is doing. differences that I would like to cite, though, are specifically that Elevate played a lot more open. They had the mirror window facing towards Kitchen, I believe, as well as the rotation hole in Kitchen. Rogue did not have that. So they simply had 2 reinforcements. They cut off the Kitchen and didn't think about it. They also didn't reinforce into Attic, which allowed that C4 early on from, I think that was Eclipse. But either way, they allowed that C4. It also allowed that rotation later, and that was due to the fact they didn't reinforce that specifically because Avian was playing. He was trying to be cheeky. Didn't work out for him. That's beside the point, really. It did distract and waste a lot of time. And it's just, I think, there's a lot of like little things. All those different things that I just tallied up, basically, that Rogue are doing differently to what Elevate were doing, which was basically Elevate was just opening up a bunch of angles and playing these angles, looking for the fights and challenging. Rogue's not doing that. They're taking indirect fights. They're trying to be sneaky, and it's working great for them. And by the way, this trend continued here from Rogue from the first map. It's the same exact scoreline. It has actually gone. There has been no there's only been one deviation. Excuse me, from the last map, and that was the 3rd round specifically. It was Most Wanted won that 3rd round instead of Rogue. But it's been pretty much the same since then. And I feel like Most Wanted, they can do this. You know,
I think they can come back.
They can pull this off.
We've seen it from them, and they're good on defense as well. That's one thing I don't want to take away from them is their defense hold on this map in particular is no slouch.
The one thing I'm worried about, though, is as you can see here, Rogue is very much focused on taking from the tower and construction, and Most Wanted is entirely prioritizing right now the other side of the map. They have their Echo drone over by the main lobby. They do have King Leo playing in Attic, and he is going to get this Thermite charge, which will slow down the attack a little bit. But elsewhere, Brian with the headshot onto Thinking Nade. And now it's already looking like this might be the series for Rogue, as they are very efficiently and effectively clearing out this roam. As well as they've already pushed their way into box, and Eclipse, right where Trippin's not expecting him, is going to take out Trippin, and he goes for the nade on King Leo, just a little bit off. That's unfortunate, but it could have been there, I think, the end of the round. King Leo is the last linchpin here for Most Wanted to win this round. If he gets a successful flank, I think that's all they can do.
Chala's going to try to do battle with Slashhug, and shot by shot as he jiggle peeks onto that Blackbeard. You can see it 2 so far.
Timing.
1 away, and he just misses it. He's going to keep peeking with that Scorpion to try and take him out. Avian's going to push in. Redeemer's going to get a kill to try and lighten the load, and now Chala gets a kill onto Slash. So a joint effort from the 2 site players. King George, you can see, is getting the diffuser down, and as Chala peeks up, oh, he wins his gunfight against Slashhug. King George gets hit by the Yokai, and they're going to try to pick him apart by the bomb as they spray through that wall. King Leo gets finished off by Brian. Redeemer gets a kill on George, and it's just Brian left as he has to retake the site. He'll shoot away at the diffuser, but is under fire from Chala, and Chala, a huge play. Most Wanted stays alive. What an incredible hold. And wow, you said it yourself. We're not counting them out. They can still come back, and they proved it right there. And now they get to live on and try to take this series to overtime.
Hate to emphasize Chala more than he deserves it, but Chala. Just Chala things.
Just Chala things.
But that was Chala put in the perfect retake position and fulfilling his role to perfectly. He did exactly what he needed to do there. Playing inside of the main lobby drop-down, laundry, as it's called, and instead of actually inside the bomb site, that put him in a position where he is going to, yes, allow the defuse plant, but ultimately he's going to be the guy to swoop in and kill the attackers before they can recuperate, fall back, and hold the diffuser from a far-off angle. And that is, he timed it perfectly. Now, we are going to have Rogue still on match point, still able to lock this out without getting to the overtime or map number 3, but they're going to be defending the top floor now instead of the basement. Now, the reason Rogue has had mixed success here. What happened the first time, or the first couple times they defended this top floor, was basically they were successful on the first time because the attack from Most Wanted was coming from the cafeteria, I believe it was, and that was where Rogue was ready to receive them. And then it mixed up where Most Wanted went for a Armory Master Take, and that was hopefully successful on the first time Most Wanted try it. Now, after that, Rogue made the change of putting Avian inside of the attic, which you can see is still happening. And Most Wanted didn't have any answer for that. They couldn't get him out of this position. Because of that, the Crossfire stayed alive throughout the entire round, and once Most Wanted started to attack into the bomb site, they couldn't actually get past the Bandit. But this run out here from Rogue, Slashhug specifically, is going to put them now in a very good spot as Chala loses his life.
Oh, I'd be
That's
mad.
the Habana as well. That's the hard destruction. Most Wanted has nothing they can use here to attack into the bomb site. That's really bad.
You've lost your diffuser, you've lost the player who was so good last round, and yes, most importantly, you've lost your hard destruction too. That's tough.
I guarantee you that after Slashrock got that run-out kill onto Chala, everybody on Rogue has got to be patting him on the back going,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
good job, dude. That's it. That's all it is. And there's another one from Eclipse. King Leo getting taken out, a 3v5. It would be very... Most Wanted is hard-pressed to recover in this situation. They can do it. They've shown it before, but I don't think that Rogue is going to give them any opportunities leading forward. Eclipse still roaming downstairs in the basement. I think Avian also inside of the attic. And Eclipse is actually going to be meeting, I believe, the Ash on the main lobby stairs shortly. That's Trippin. Nope. Trippin not trying to challenge it directly, but Redeemer in the meeting hall. It's all going to come down to Eclipse and how aggressive he gets, because it seems like Most Wanted stalling out on this round, waiting for the time to tick away, and that's not what you want to see from an attacking team. They're conscious of Avian playing inside the attic, of course, as he has been playing that position spectacularly and was likely not to change his role. And so they're trying to deal with that, but inadvertently, they're just wasting time. Eclipse going to come up the main lobby stairs and take out Redeemer, now a 2-on-5. I think it's going to be, I mean, it's getting harder and harder for Most Wanted as they continue to get stalled out. Another kill from Eclipse onto Trippin, and now it's all down to thinking, Nade. In a 1 versus 5, he has to ace to deny the lockout here from Rogue as he creeps his way towards the white stairs, looking for anything that Rogue will give him, but no, he gets hit by an Ella, and his position is now known to everyone on Rogue, and the collapse is coming in here, ladies and gentlemen. Eclipse coming from the main lobby, the pressure mounting, thinking Nade getting challenged from above. He's going to start shooting, fires up, but nope, it's Eclipse running in through the door of the showers, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Was that a 4K from Eclipse?
I do believe so, because Slashshot got the lead-off kill, but then after that, it was all Eclipse. An excellent job from them. And what was a match that looked like it was going to be very close after that last round, momentum completely stolen away from them as Slashhog rips Chala apart right at the very beginning. And that was it. Rogue is now going to advance to the winner's match, but Most Wanted now awaits the victor of Elevate versus WBG, and that could be one heck of a rematch should Elevate prevail. If not, then WBG awaits them, and that will be exciting as well.
So Rogue with that swift 2-0.